Marcel. So I'm just going to do a quick introduction. I shortly introduced myself earlier. My name is Thijs. I'm 28 years old. Have been in sales since I was 18. Started off selling Hellofresh subscription packages on the street. So I was always looking for single moms with their strollers to target. Did quite well. Really enjoyed sales. So started going to college. Put it on a lower tab and worked a lot next to my going to college. Did numerous sales jobs. Did B2B, B2C, inbound, outbound. Had my own sales team. Generated over 10 million while working for a leasing company. And then was the point where I was kind of a greedy sales guy, and I was like, I need to make some more money, so I need to start for myself. That's the honest story. Been working for myself for the past 2 years. We generated over 3 million in pipeline for our clients, and a lot of it has come from LinkedIn, and then especially focusing on like the connection with content and also a little bit of outreach, which I will tell you about in the slides. I'm not gonna tell you today how to write some super high converting post and how to get millions of impressions and go viral. That's not really important. I'm going to tell you a bit more about the strategy behind it, what has really changed the past few years in the buyer journey, so the B2B buyer journey, and show you the framework that we use for our clients to generate business through LinkedIn. This is focused mainly on inbound lead generation, so no outbound. It's set up that we have slides. If there's anything in the slides or anything that I'm saying that's unclear, just raise your hand and you can ask your question right away. If you have any other questions, save them a bit for the end and we'll do like a little Q&A and go over it. So before we start, let me see some hands, who kind of hates LinkedIn? I know I do. Yeah, especially like hate. You don't hate LinkedIn, you love it? Just for all the business that it generates, or?
Yeah, I would say so. So my question would be like, why do you hate LinkedIn?
Because for me personally, it's also kind of like in Dutch we would call it like a poppenkast. If you check in on the platform and you see some post of I went to a wedding and this is what it taught me about B2B sales, like it makes me want to vomit. So it's kind of like it's kind of like an act sometimes, people polishing up their stories way better than it's actually in reality. So that's why I kind of like hate it and love it at the same time. What about you? You're active on LinkedIn?
Yeah, but I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah,
A lot of,
a lot of non-content.
Another social media.
Yeah,
Content.
yeah, especially. Any other people have any interesting experiences with LinkedIn?
I absolutely love LinkedIn. I hosted a workshop for Marcel for a woman who was talking about building her personal brand on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And as soon as I took it seriously, all of my clients came from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So
that's the upside, right? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I agree. Is there something that you don't like about it, or is it just all like the best thing in the world?
I don't like that people think it's cringe.
I do think it's cringe sometimes.
I don't like the perception. Like when I went to a wedding and I took a photo with some friends, and they went, "You should post it on LinkedIn."
And you're like, I will. Yeah. Anybody else that has?
Yeah, I think this question is for all social media. We all hate social media and we all love social media more than for the same reasons.
True.
Yeah.
So it depends on who you follow. I heard this thing is like you need to unfollow more than you follow.
Yeah.
So you can curate the people and then you nurture your network and increase the value.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. So we're all kind of on the same page. So there's a lot of things in the B2B buyer journey that have changed over the last 10 years, and a lot has to do with the internet, with Google, and also with AI. I'm not sure if everybody can see this. So 95% from your target audience, so let's say for Thomas, he's targeting SaaS companies. Let's say there are 2,000 SaaS companies in the Netherlands. We know for a fact that 95% of those companies are not in the market right now. And within the market, I mean looking for solutions and ready to buy, right? That's a fact. It's not something I've made up on the train on my way here. This is backed by research from Gartner, from Sixth Sense, from people who've done research on thousands of companies. So we know that out of the 2,000 companies that Thomas wants to target, that only a little portion of it is actively looking and ready to buy something. So the rest is not. We cannot move companies in market ourselves. So the idea that we can post a couple things about challenges and then we can kind of move companies to when they're ready to buy, that's utter bullshit. That's impossible. We cannot do that. The only person who decides when they are getting ready to go in market is a company itself, right? They can endure some challenges which will make them ready and bring them into the 5%, or they can get acquired, which makes things change. We cannot do that. Only the companies can do that. Another fact, also backed by the same research, is that 82% of B2B buyers make their purchase from a shortlist. I'll get back into that a little bit more. But if you know this for a fact, then the only question we have should be, how do we get on this shortlist? What do we have to do to get on the shortlist?
Just a question, was the previous graph also for B2C sales, or is that mainly B2B?
It's mainly about B2B. I can give you like a modified version afterwards, which is a bit more about B2C, but this is mostly about B2B because most of the people here target B2B. So yeah, if we know this, the only question we have, right, how do we get on this shortlist? Because that's apparently where all the fun happens. We need to be on it. So things have really changed in the B2B buyer journey lately, which makes marketing less trackable. So buyers are everywhere. So they used to be in Google, right? You need to buy something, you go to Google, you type some stuff in, view some websites. Very trackable with search engine optimization, search engine advertising, downloads and stuff. So it was very trackable. Buyers are everywhere now. They're in communities like this. They're in Discord channels. They're in Slack communities. But also a CEO following your LinkedIn content organically. It's not trackable, right? I've been following Thomas for over a year now, but it's not like he can't track that. Maybe when I'm at the coffee machine at my company and I'm talking about dashboards and I bring his name up, but he won't know that. So it's not very trackable, which makes it more difficult to really get a grip on what we would call the marketing funnel, right? At the same time, we're noticing that information is very accessible. So among other things, AI have caused that as well. But if we go back like 10, 15 years, who would have all the information? That would be the seller, right? The vendor. They have all the information about their products and their features and their benefits. But now you can go to any website, you can ask ChatGPT or one of the 20 other LLMs to do your research. Pricing is available everywhere. There's case studies everywhere. So all the information is no longer a scarcity. It's more of a common good. We all have access to everything online. And what we've really noticed in the research with Gartner and Sixth Sense is that buyers really want to do their own research. So we don't want to be stalked by salespeople anymore. We want to do our own research, make our own decisions, and then when we're ready, we want to be the person that contacts the vendor and goes for the sale. One other thing is that sales is kind of like a dirty word. So we're all on LinkedIn, right? So we all get pitch slapped quite a lot and all cold emails and cold DMs. Sales is kind of like a dirty word. So I've noticed that a lot of people aren't even on LinkedIn anymore because they get bombarded with sales pitches and all that other stuff. It's kind of came over from the US where like 20, 30 years ago, you had all the big companies like Dell and Microsoft who were all very sales heavy organizations. So we'd all be doing cold calls and cold emails and more volume. So sales is kind of like a touchy subject. So where the last 20 years we've all been focusing on lead generation, a new marketing strategy is kind of on the rise lately, which is called demand generation. So lead generation really focuses on the 5% group that are in the market right now, that are actively looking for solutions to get their attention and to pull them your way. That's what lead generation is. So a great example of lead generation would be if you have a white paper on your website or on your LinkedIn, people have to fill in their contact details and their email address, and then you have a download. And then that information would be used to pass it on to sales, or if you're a founder, you do it yourself and you start stalking these people. Oh, you downloaded our white paper, you would be interested in a call. So you instantly get bombarded with sales. So this is basically focusing on the little 5% of the pie that's actively looking and available right now. Whereas demand generation kind of turns it upside down. The strategy here is not to focus on the 5%, but to focus on the 95%. So it's a way bigger pie. And while everybody's focusing on the 5%, you focus on the 95% with the idea that when the 95% moves to the in-market, so when they become that 5%, that you're the logical option. That's what we want to achieve. So we want to be top of mind, so when these guys move through, that they think of you and get in touch with you. That's what we're trying to achieve. Is anybody here already actively working on demand gen, or is it all like new for you guys? Or yeah, very new? Cool. So just to give you a practical example, 10 years ago, let's say I needed a marketing agency to help me out with LinkedIn content. I would log into Google. I would type in a marketing agency LinkedIn. I would find a couple websites, right? So those agencies would be investing heavily to get on the top of the search engine. I would select a few. I would go to their websites, probably request or download some info, and I would get in touch with sales, right? That's kind of like the old way of how it would go. If you take into account what I just told you, then the new way would be, hey, I need a marketing agency to help me. I would make a short list. I would research the companies on the short list, evaluate on criteria that's important to me, and then I would get in touch with maybe 3 or 5 people. So the question still is, how do we get to the short list? Because apparently that's how 82% of the companies buy these days. So once again, we don't want to focus on this little section of the pie where everybody is focusing on, but we want to focus on this section. The only problem is that this is very trackable with the gated downloads and the website downloads and website visit. This gives the illusion that marketing is very trackable, but it's actually not. And if you have to let go of this and focus all your marketing efforts on this side, it's just less trackable. Brand awareness isn't very trackable. Downloads, very trackable. So it gives this sense of control over your marketing funnel. And with demand gen, you really have to let go of it. So it's very difficult for most companies because most CEOs, they only want leads, and because they can throw them in a funnel, and they know if we throw 10,000 companies in, that at the bottom, somewhere we'll get 20 clients. So it gives this predictive illusion, but it's actually not true at all. So one of the strategies to get on the shortlist to become top of mind is a social selling strategy. Does anybody here know what it is?
It says it there.
Yeah.
So I know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you engage with your audience, create a relationship, you show content to connect with them,
Yeah.
create your competence, and content to convert them or to lead them to another list or something to continue through.
Yeah, perfect. So it's nothing else than building and engaging with your audience. So that means sharing valuable content without limitations, really focusing on building the relationships with the idea that over time, when this group becomes ready to buy, that they think of you and you're on the shortlist. That's what we want to achieve. So that means sharing knowledge without limitations. So ungating all the content, removing all the extra unnecessary steps that prospects would have to go through in order to get the information or to learn more. Remove everything and share everything. So I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm not going to share that because that's very valuable. And what if somebody is going to copy me? People don't pay you for your knowledge. They pay you for the implementation, right? So if you know that, don't hide it, share it. Because people will never look to you for the knowledge, but they will always ask you to implement it. So share everything, the best performing tricks and plays in your work. Share everything without limitations. That's what we want to become top of mind. So if we share content on a consistent basis and we follow it up with DMs and comments and stuff, it allows us to become top of mind and will be the logical option that when they do become in the market. It'll lead to stronger relationships, better converting opportunities, and even a faster sales cycles, because these people, this 95%, if you focus your efforts on them and they come in the market, they already know what you do, what problems you solved, with what results, they know your pricing. So the chances that when they come when you made the shortlist and they come inbound, the chances of them converting are much higher. We've had one client who had about a 20% conversion on inbound leads. We flipped the whole script, introduced demand generation, and their inbound leads there are less now, but they convert up to like 60-70%. So it's way better in converting and way faster because they already know everything about you. So we created a framework for social selling on LinkedIn based on the 4 pillars that make up LinkedIn. So we have content, connections, conversations, and commenting, which are kind of the 4 essential subjects on LinkedIn. So if we look at the content side, there's a lot of different ways to go at it, different types of models. I think content has to do 3 things. We want to show something personal. If I wanted a dashboard, I'm not going to do business with Drill Down, but I'm still going to do business with Thomas. So people still do business with people, right? Not with logos. So we want to show our personal side. That does not mean that you have to post everything. I mean, if I share something about how last week my son was born and we brought him to the daycare, who cares, right? That doesn't add anything. But if it's a personal story about how I screwed up my biggest deal last week and what I learned from it, it's a personal story, but it also adds something. So we still want to do the personal touches, but not too much. Then the second is the value and the thought leadership. So as I mentioned, you want to share your knowledge without limitations. So share how you help your clients. What are the problems they are having? How did you solve them? What's active in your market? What trends are going on in your industry? What breakdowns of certain things can you help? So be really valuable. Everything to help your prospect without actually them becoming a client, right? Give them everything that they need in order to help themselves. And then the last category, I think, is sales and promotion. So every now and then you obviously want to promote your offer, share some case studies, transformations, client results, but also limiting beliefs that prospects might have. If you balance those 3 categories out quite well, you'll have a well-rounded content mix that in itself can generate inbound leads over time. If you're consistent, I mean, you saw it as well, right? It's going to take some time. You got to nail it, and once you find it, the results will start coming. How long did it take for you before it became like a steady?
Like, I think. Do you remember when Joe was here, Marcel? Was that last September when Joe Bird was here?
Oh, well, it could have been 2 years ago even. I don't even remember.
No, it wasn't that long ago. But I feel like it's less than a year.
So it took some time, right?
Yeah, but not like to start getting inbound leads. It didn't take that much time, but now like to get a consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it took. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
like a
still under
couple months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So that in itself, if you're visible on LinkedIn, 2, 3, maybe 4 posts a week, over time, that'll be able to generate inbound leads as well. But we can also add some other things to kind of make it go a little quicker. So the second category would be the connections, right? We all have target companies we want to do business with. Are they currently in your network? So is anybody here using the 25 connection requests every day? Yeah, I know you probably automated it, right? Yeah. Nobody else? No. Yeah, we automated it for you as well, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's definitely a missed opportunity. The third area is the conversations. So there's people on LinkedIn, there's people engaging with your content, there's people watching your profile, there's people that might come to your webinar, there's people that might interact with a relevant post. These are all very good triggers to start conversations. And I'm not talking about hey, you viewed my profile, here's my Calendly link, let's talk, like not about that. But if you post something about a dashboard fixing certain issues and the CEO of a SaaS company engages with it, why not send them a DM, start up a conversation? And a lot of people, they just post and then they ghost. So they just share their content and they don't do anything else. But it's the combination of these 4 pillars that makes inbound lead generation really work. And then the last category is commenting? So are you actively trying to engage with other people on LinkedIn? People that might share your ideal customer profile, or people that might share some of the same audience? Are you engaging with them? Are you liking and responding on their posts? So there's 4 categories that are very important.
What is con colega? Sorry.
Oh, dang! Did I not? Like your competitors, right? So, for instance, there's another guy in Utrecht that also does like some sort of lead generation. So we probably share quite a bit of the same target audience. So if he has 5,000 followers, then there's definitely some people in there that are going to be interested for me as well. So if he posts something, then I can engage with him, right? And I can make sure that the people engaging with his content also notice me. I meant a competitor. So if we look at the content, right, we just went over it a little bit. 3 categories. So we're ditching the old school content funnel. When it comes to engagement, there's 3 categories as well. So engaging with other creators or thought leaders that have a big reach. So there's a lot of people that do something similar that you guys do. I wouldn't say that everybody here is super unique. Like there's obviously people that share an audience with other people out there, and if they have a big following, why not use it? And I'm not saying go out there and steal all his connections, but engage in their content, because it's like a oil leak. It'll spread out, and more people who will see you, and more people who you can share your vision with, the more people will come to you. That's a fact. There's also competitors. There's also your ideal customers. So if your ideal customers are also on LinkedIn posting, also engage with them. It makes absolutely sense that if they're posting about cool subjects or about something that you can help them with, engage with the post, share your vision. So no pitching, but share what you think works, and engage in a meaningful discussion, because those are the things that really, really, really help. If we're looking at outreach, so we can make this whole process go a bit quicker. If we're just posting 3 times a week, then we're waiting for other people to see our content and then start to follow us. And we can really make this go a lot faster if we use up our connection requests. So LinkedIn allows you to send 25 connection requests. Go to Sales Navigator. Does everybody have Sales Navigator? Okay, invest 50 euros a month in Sales Navigator. It's absolutely worth it. Make a list of your ideal customer. So how big are these companies? What industries are they in? What's their size? What's their location? Make a list in Sales Navigator. It's very easy, and I will share a little video on how to do it later. Make a list. Write down 2 to 3 messages for connecting with them, and use up those 20 to 25 connection requests every day. Because if you can get a 30 or 40% acceptance rate, which is quite normal, that's an extra 10 to 15 connections that you can grow every day. If you can grow with another 50, 60 connections every week on top of what happens on the inbound side, then we can make this whole thing go so much faster and make it way more efficient.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
Because then at some point you have like a gazillion contacts that might not be really personally connecting with you. So now you have like all these, like, I think my question is like, what is better? Having a lot of connections that you think might be interested but are not really engaging, versus not having them and have a higher engagement rate on the followers you already have, or the connections you already have?
It's a good question. So it really depends, right? If they are connections and the right decision makers from within your target audience, so if you know like these are the 1,000 people I want to do business with and they're in your network, that's obviously much better to have them in your network and not engage with your content than to have maybe 10 or 20 or 100 of them that are engaging all the time. If I look at my last 2 clients from inbound leads, there was one CEO, he never liked one of my messages, but he was in my network. I sent him a couple DMs, he never responded, but he saw a bunch of posts. He actually had one saved. Though I didn't see that at all, but he did become a client. So engaging, it can help, but not everybody will do that. So if you're like a busy CEO, they don't have time to send 20 messages every day and engage with everybody else. So if there are people that are really positively engaging with your content, then obviously focus a bit of your efforts on that. But just because people are not active in your network doesn't mean that they don't see anything. We call them, in Dutch I always call them the lurkers. So they see everything, but they don't engage.
So that's my experience as well. And the reason for that is that I also send out these connection requests just to get connected with them, because that opens up the DMs. And you can have a conversation in there. Because if you're not connected, you cannot talk with each other. So you want to maximize the amount of people you can talk to. And that's also a reason to send out these connection requests. Because
Yeah.
it gives access. So.
And you say that you have like a bunch of people that you're not personally connected with. Like, what do you mean with like personally?
Yeah, so kind of what happens with my business right now is like when you look at my numbers of followers, people on email list, it's like very underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of people that become a client is ridiculous, and the clients that keep going is really
Mhm.
nice. So I've been mainly focusing on just warm people and then increasing from that group, and then I use LinkedIn more as like when people connect, like their connections see it as well.
Mhm.
Great. But I don't feel like I'm this person who actively is looking for people, and I'm wondering if that's worth it. That's what the question
Well,
is.
yeah. Well, I definitely think it would. So if the other side is already working for you, that's perfect. But expanding your network with the right decision makers, it's always going to be worth it down the line, because not everybody is super engaged. So maybe some of your prospects are, but if I look at like my last 10 clients for my agency, and if I look at how many likes they did and how many comments they left, then it's not always the case. Like, so some people are very active, and then they're liking every post and leaving comments, and we share DMs, and it takes maybe a year, and we've shared 25 DMs, and they've liked my post 20 times, and I like their. Sometimes that happens, but it's also very much where it's the other case, and we've shared like a connection request, and that's it. But they've seen, they can remember posts from 6 months ago, and so it's you have to do it anyway. But then focus your engagement efforts on the people that are engaging with you. And then the last pillar is the conversation. So if you're very active on LinkedIn, there's definitely going to be some signals or some triggers that are coming out of it. So people that are adding you, send them a message. Why did they add you? What are they working on? What are they doing? Show some interest. But also the people that you added, is there something on their profile that might strike your attention, or something that's interesting to spark up a conversation? Obviously, you'll get some inbound DMs. It's always important to prioritize those first, because those are people actively seeking contact with you. Positive interaction with your content. If it's about certain case studies or pain points, then it's very interesting to check out who engaged with it and follow them up with a DM. I'm not talking about like a straight sales pitch. Thanks for liking my post. Here's my Calendly. Let's meet. No, but just thank them for the support. Ask them what triggered it. Ask them what they're doing. See if they're doing something on or posting on their LinkedIn, and strike up like an actual meaningful conversation. Birthday wishes, also very important. It sounds really weird wishing people on LinkedIn a birthday or wishing them a happy birthday, but it really works. We've ran over 100 campaigns just with the birthday wishes, and they get a lot of responses. Yeah, it's true, and they get a lot of responses, and then people will respond on your birthday wish, and then a conversation will happen, and then from there you go on. So it's not only posting and sending some messages, but try to be a bit more strategic about it.
Can I ask a question about why it works? So like there's birthday wishes, 25 connections, etc.
Yeah.
Is it because of the social effect of it, like the
Yeah.
natural organic thing? Or does LinkedIn also, like the algorithm, value your profile more and give you more like interactions?
No.
Because you use the product.
No, this is just purely that it's very like personal and not salesy at all. If I wish you a happy birthday, so let's say, for instance, if I said, "Hey, happy birthday! What's the highlight of last year?" You'd probably respond because I mean, I wish you a happy birthday. You have manners. You respond, right? So it's kind of how it goes. Maybe if you get like 1,000, then. Okay. Just generally speaking, most people will respond, and they'll be like, "Oh, thanks. Yeah, the best thing about last year was launching this product or this trip with my family." And then, okay, cool. Where did you go? I've also been to Africa. And then like a conversation naturally kind of flows. And then if you can wait
I
with
can
this.
actually look up hours because you did this to me.
Really?
Yes.
When did I do this to you?
I think I responded to one of your posts where you shared value about LinkedIn
Oh, cool.
leads, and I said, hey, it's first time I said something like, hey, authentic story or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And then you reached
He
out
was
to me
like,
and we
how
had
do you like that?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Really. I've had a birthday since.
Oh, dang.
How do you
You probably missed it.
actually
Or
find out people's birthdays? Yeah, I was wondering that.
there's tooling with that can register it, and there's so many cool like little workflows you can do. Or like the manual version is there's this tool called TextBlaze. It's free, where you can load like text snippets in it. So you can say like I have a shortcut with like the dash and then the B for the birthday wishes, and then it'll say happy birthday, another year. What's the highlight of last year?
But I think old people all have it registered, right? I remember when I went onto LinkedIn, you probably weren't born yet. The first thing I had to like register was my date of birth.
Yeah, yeah,
So LinkedIn
Yeah.
just knows.
yeah. No, the LinkedIn knows, and then
Also,
on top,
decision makers that are a bit older than 35,
yeah,
we all have it registered on our LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah. And it really works because it's not about sales, right? If I send you some sort of sales message, then it's either very relevant or not, and you can engage with me or not. But if I completely remove it, because this is just about a birthday, then the chances that you are going to respond are much higher. And when you respond, then we can have a conversation, and that conversation can be about your highlights from last year because of your birthday, but we can move the conversation to like what are your goals now, where are you going, so kind of like turn it around. And then lastly, there's a couple tools that can help you out to make everything a bit more efficient, because we don't have time, right, to go be on LinkedIn for 4 hours every day. I spend maybe 30 minutes on LinkedIn every day because I have a bunch of tools helping me. So one of my favorite ones for content creation is Claude. I'll share with all of you guys the setup with some Loom videos and like some prompts to make content based on this framework within Claude. It's really cool. You can throw meeting transcriptions in with clients or prospects. You can add articles or blogs, and then it'll make content for you. I also have a Loom video on how to do that. I will share it with you guys. Don't leave everything to AI. Just make sure that there's always a human in the loop. Otherwise, we get a bunch of non-10 on LinkedIn. Then,
do you have anything that combines your lead management with that inbox?
as in like a CRM type thing
yeah.
for LinkedIn.
Yeah, for LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Condo for like but that's purely for like inbox management. That's really nice because you can label conversations and tag them and set reminders. But if you're looking for more of like a CRM type thing, I can really advise Break Cold.
Yeah, it's more like there's a ton of conversations on warm and hot and
Yeah.
all these different things.
Yeah, Condo does that really well. But if you're looking for also a bit more of like CRM functions, then Break Cold is really good because you can label conversations, like have like a pipeline, and even make like a curated feed for content. So it's really cool. Canva is a great tool, making it really easy to make some cool visuals. Then Sales Navigator for making the list of your clients and then adding them on LinkedIn. And if you want to automate that process, I can advise a tool like Lemlist, which you can just set to automated connection requests, maybe 20 a day. And then for conversations, TextBlaze, a free tool with shortcuts. So if you have like people asking the same questions, or you want to share your Calendly link real quick, or some more information or whatever, that saves a bunch of time. And then Condo is really great for managing your inbox. And then lastly, Break Cold is a very great tool to make like curated timelines. So there's an option in Break Cold where you can see only the content posted by your prospects, for instance, so you can quickly engage with it, making it all a little bit more easier.
So the Break Cold does like a mock-up of your LinkedIn, or how does the
Yeah.
interface look like?
It's it's a more of a CRM interface. So you have like a pipeline that you can check out. So with pipeline stages.
Yeah.
So like cold or interested or meeting booked or whatever. And there's also a curated feed. So you can make lists and add people to these lists. And then if you go to the feed, you'll only see the LinkedIn contributions of that group of people. So
And does it still look like LinkedIn, or is it like a separate inbox?
No, this works in breakcold. So it's this is all in one tool, and then it'll allow you to really respond like and comment really quickly on selected posts, and really have like a curated feed with only content that you want to see.
If you comment in breakcold, it will send it to
Yeah.
you.
Yes, that's true.
Cool. Does it also do other platforms?
You can add your email inbox to it as well, and I think they're working on WhatsApp integrations as well. It's going quite fast.
Instagram, Facebook?
Ooh, I think Instagram they might have. I'll check it after for you. Cool. That kind of was the presentation. Are there any questions?
I'm just curious about the tooling. You said it was Lemlist that sent the auto connections, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you don't randomly send connections to random people, right? It's like
No.
you can filter and curate the connections. Like you want I don't know, SMEs with this, doing in this sector, doing this, right? Like
Yeah, so you would make a list in Sales Navigator. So you would go,
okay,
right?
So you make the list from Sales Navigator and
Yeah.
then it goes through Lemlist.
Yeah, and then you would
Gotcha.
upload it into Lemlist, and then add like a little text that you want to send with the connection request, and maybe add like a little text that you would want to send as a follow-up, and then it automates the entire process.
Cool.
So instead of like going to someone's profile, having to type it all out, it automates it, and then when people respond, you can either answer it from LinkedIn or from Lemlist itself. It's quite a cool tool.
Have you tested the what versus how content? This is very linked to the value thing that you mentioned before.
The
So-
what versus how
Yeah,
content?
so for example, you mentioned just share everything.
Mhm.
Share your frameworks, everything.
Yeah.
In my experience, when I share everything, I get a ton of likes and so on, but nobody buys.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of do it yourself. Then what I started doing is sharing how I do the things, but sharing what I do, but not how to do them. And that tends to bring me less leads, less likes, but the quality of leads increases. And I'm not really sure at this point if it's a seasonal thing,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's, one should work better than the other one, so I just want to see what's your experience
Yeah.
around it.
So you're focusing more on the how you do it, or
I used to focus on
okay.
the how, and
Mhm.
I focus only on the what. So instead of telling you this is how you build an offer,
Mm-hmm.
I would tell these are the components of an offer.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates a little bit more curiosity. Okay, what does this guy mean?
Mm-hmm.
They lead into the inbound. Then.
That's quite interesting, because I'm from the philosophy like share everything, the what, the how, like the results, like share everything. So maybe it's more seasonal, but maybe you can show me, like we can check it after.
It works mostly with testimonials because if there's no testimonial, it doesn't really mean.
Okay, yeah, I'm quite curious to see your stats.
Is there a reason why you just stick specifically to LinkedIn and not other platforms as well? Like why not YouTube or Instagram or TikTok? Like why just stay on LinkedIn?
For me, it's because if I look at my own target audience, they're mostly on LinkedIn. This is the biggest B2B platform like in the world. So like most of the buyers are active here. That does not mean that I'm going to solely focus on LinkedIn for the rest of my life. Like I will definitely experiment with other things. But the real question is, where are my prospects? If they are on Facebook, then you have to be on Facebook, right? If they're on Instagram, then you have to focus more on Instagram. But generally for the B2B market, most buyers are active on the platform, and they might not produce content all, but they're definitely checking things out because it's kind of like, for most people who are working a job, this is kind of like their digital resume, so they're all active, kind of like updating it.
Targeting is also very good on LinkedIn, so it's very easy to find people you need and just outreach them. Whereas on Instagram, it's usually a little harder.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm just thinking about it because I wonder how much time this would take, and based on the rule of 7, like if you're just everywhere as well, like when
Mhm.
people research your business, like if you're also on YouTube, also on Instagram, also on TikTok, I would say that builds more trust, right? Like, or is it not worth it?
Well,
That's
not
what I'm
necessarily.
trying to understand.
I wouldn't. If you're, it also depends like how far along you are, right? If you're at the beginning stage, then I would say focus like on 1 or 2 platforms,
Yeah.
start dominating them, and then branch out, right? But the only question is, where are your prospects? Like, what type of companies and decision makers are you targeting? And And then, have you called a couple of them, and trying to find out where they are, and then focus on that specific platform. And then for most people here, I can 100% say that LinkedIn is the place to be.
And can you just go back to the tech stack that you had?
Yeah.
Which ones would you say are like, maybe they all are like essential and like nice to haves? All essential.
Okay, I really I make all my content with AI, so I don't leave it to AI. So I have like a whole setup. So for me, this was a game changer, because I used to post like once or twice a week, and now we built this whole setup that I spend maybe 45 minutes a week, and I can post 5 times, and it's the impressions have been really well. So that for me was a game changer. And then, I'm a sales guy, and a tech guy. So for me, Lemlist, automating the connection requests and running like little mini campaigns, that's just like a game changer, because then I only have to focus on the people replying, and it saves like a bunch of time. So if there are any tools to choose from, like the must-haves, then I would say Claude and like Lemlist, and then nice-to-haves would probably be more like Condo and like Tapio and Canva, because they're not mandatory.
Can I also ask a question about your offering?
Of course.
So when I look at this, I'm like, oh, super interesting. Never gonna do it. But you know,
never. You never know. You never know.
I can't because I'm just not the person to log into a computer and then into 8 programs of one day. Anyway,
Okay.
but so my question is, are there like ghost creators who use this? Do you have a team that could do this for me? I totally believe that it's the way to go.
Yeah.
You know, I would hire for the helping hands as well, if needed. And my second question was, do you do this talk for? Can I hire you to do the talk again somewhere else?
Cool.
Is this normally how you like pitch to a company for your services, or do you? Like
No. So first question first: are there people that are doing this?
Yeah.
Basically, every step that I went through. So the commenting, there's people that you can outsource it to. So there's like agencies who will ghostwrite for you. So they'll interview you based on your expertise, make content, have you feedback it, and then post it. Yeah. So I know a bunch of CEOs that do that.
But they're not part of your offer.
Basically wants to hire you.
Oh no, yeah, we have a ghostwriter as well. So, yeah, we have a ghostwriter as well. So we do that for clients as well. And then basically every step is what we do for companies. And then mostly like lately we had a rebrand, so we're doing a bunch of email marketing and stuff. But this is still all part of the offering. And then the second question is, do you do these talks? I like talking, so sure, would love to.
I have another question. So you don't do any automated messaging then?
I do. So there's like I run like little like mini campaigns. So I would select maybe 50 people in my network that are, let's say, they're all CEOs of IT companies. And then on IT, in the IT industry, something will happen, or maybe I've helped a client be very successful with a certain thing, and then I'll share it with them, or I'll send them a message. But I don't add people and then send them like 1 or 2 follow-ups, and I don't do that. It doesn't really work that well. I think LinkedIn is more of a long game, like focus on the inbound side, build the relationships, and then for like direct conversion, I always use like either a very like hyper targeted little campaign, like on maybe 30, 40 people, or email.
Do you have examples of those?
I mean, I can show them after. For instance, I have one client, he has a tool for tenders. They're called Tenderbot. So for like the government uses them, right? So they have now 50 clients, and they bundled the usage of the tool and created a little report, like almost like a white paper. So a very specific piece of content. We sent it to 150 people in this network. Hey, this is what we noticed with other companies. I'm not sure if it's relevant for you, but here you go. And then from the 150 people, about half of them responded. So that's around 70, 80 responses. And then from the 70 and 80, the conversation started up. And then when you get further down, there were 5 or 6 demos booked just from that little area.
You just send out lead magnets.
Yeah, or very valuable pieces of content, or I mean, I've shared like I helped like IT companies set up like some outbound with like signals, right? So catching a signal from the market and then doing outbound. So if I know that it works for an IT company here with 200 employees focusing on cloud, then I know that that CEO of also an IT company with around the same people, that it might be relevant for him. So then I can obviously tell him like, hey man, I just helped these people do this, noticed you guys are kind of the same setup, is it relevant if I share it with you? Then I'm not pushy, I'm not salesy, I'm just trying to help him. And that's like how you spark up the conversations.
I just want to circle back to the question of outsourcing your comments. I think for me, I've stayed away from it because I'm terrified that an outsourced commenter will say something that's really off-brand for me, or maybe give advice I wouldn't give.
Yeah.
Tell me why I'm overthinking this.
I wouldn't say actually you're overthinking. I think that's a very logical concern because there's only one you, right? So when you're making content from somebody, like the actual post, then it's very easy and you can get very close to somebody in terms of like, you know, how they look at stuff, their vision, their tone of voice. You can get feedback, and with comments you can't. Right. So if there's a concern, so there are people that do it really well, but on the same time, that would be probably the only area where I would say, like, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it at all. Just block like 10, 15 minutes in the morning, log in, use, you know, like a tool like Break Cold, so you see very like segmented who you want to interact with, leave like 5, 6 comments, 10, 15 minutes and be done with it. Then I would focus more on like outsourcing the writing part, or, you know, somewhere in that area, because yeah, I agree, that's something that's very touchy. And even writing for someone can be, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not authentic, and so it's, even then you can really miss the mark, but there are really good ghostwriters that can get very close to your own tone of voice and like your vision. Yeah. But with the comments, it's a little bit different. So a valid concern.
Okay.
How does the volume look like on each of what you're doing? Like, how many contents are you posting per day? How much are you commenting per day? That sort of thing. And have you seen like a correlation with more volume equals more leads, better results?
Solid question. So things like the connection requests, right? You're capped at 25. With DMs, you're capped at 40 a day. I mean, you could go over it with like tooling and stuff, but then you would risk your account getting. I wouldn't advise that. And then I would say for the content, it's a very difficult question, because I know people who post every day, really valuable stuff, really entertaining, love to follow them. And then I also know a lot of people that post 7 times a week and it's a bunch of trash and they're just making up numbers, right? I would say the minimum is 2 a week, like absolute minimum. But ideally, I would want to be around like 4 or 5 posts a week, which may sound like a lot. People are like, who wants to see that much of me? People don't care, like that's too much. But it's really not. Because not everybody in your network will see every post. That's how the algorithm works. So myself, I post like 4 or 5 times a week. And then, you know, every now and then you'll get a comment from somebody in the supermarket. Oh, you're on LinkedIn a lot. Yeah, well, it's working. See ya. Like, so yeah, but around like 4 or 5 a week would be really nice. But then you got to be really, really honest to yourself in terms of like the quality. Because if you're just, you know, writing posts because you want to post, that's the wrong idea.
I just wanted to share my experience, because you wrote something about commenting on your competitors, engaging with competitors, which I completely agree. So when I started connecting with a lot of other hosts and MCs, and one of them in particular who I have a good relationship with now, she was like, I see you always commenting on other hosts and like giving them recommendations and being so positive, like, why do you do that? And I was like, well, you know, abundance mindset, like you, and also in my mind, I'm like, you guys, event organizers are also following you, so, you know, it just helps. And then now, every time she doesn't do a gig, she recommends me, and she's never even seen me host, but she just, I don't know, just likes my vibe from LinkedIn. So I really agree with what you were saying there about engaging with your competitors and just seeing it as, you know, colleagues, not necessarily competitors, even though, you know.
And to add, like, that's wonderful, because that's exactly how it goes, that your comments also get views, right? So I've had posts that had 500 views, and I've had posts that had 500,000 views, but I've also had comments that have had like 100,000 views, and people sending me connection requests. Oh, I saw your comment here and here, fully agree, let's connect. You know, extra connections, extra conversations, and then it kind of snowballs all the way down. Oh, we're done.
I was saying you have 5 minutes.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. I was like, oh. Are there any more questions? Oh, yeah.
I'm curious about if there is like a scheduling tool for the post, because I probably don't want to just log into LinkedIn and do that every day. Maybe it can be part of my routine, but I was wondering if there's like a scheduling tool where I can just plan my entire week.
Yeah, there's probably around like 1,000 scheduling tools. In LinkedIn, there's also an option. You can, when you write a post, there's like a little clock on the bottom right. If you click it, then you can plan it on another day and another time. So just once a week, log in, plan everything, add the visuals, add the photos, and then you're set.
But just a tip, like LinkedIn pushes your post more if you engage on the platform before you post. So if you schedule a post at like, I schedule my post like 1:30, so at 1:15 I log in and reply to my DMs, reply to any comments, and then the post goes out, and then it just pushes it.
Yeah, so build like a little routine in the morning.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
Sometimes if it doesn't happen, but I post 5 days a week, so one post is like fine.
I agree.
Yeah.
So on the social strategy, I think you called it.
Yeah.
I think it was great. I've been posting also regularly on LinkedIn. How do you track like success with social strategy?
Solid question. So how do we track success, right? Well, we're posting for a reason, right? We want to get business out of it. So there's metrics on LinkedIn, impressions, views, like all that stuff. But as we mentioned earlier, like the last 10 of my clients, they didn't like any post. They didn't, leave any comments. So if I were to focus on those metrics, we call them vanity metrics. They're not gonna have me anything. So what I focus on is your network growth, because that's obviously says something about which way it's going. I do check like impressions and stuff like that, but I don't focus on it. And then the most important is I focus on how many DMs I sent. So make sure that that's like at a certain level. And then I just track inbound leads. So how many Calendly requests do I have? How many people DM me inbound saying they want more information or they want to hop on a call? And yeah, so the actual calls. And then I track in my pipeline, so in my CRM, where the deals come from. And then we track revenue. That's the only thing really that matters, right? I mean, do you want to, like do 100K in business, or do you want like 1,000 likes on your post? I know what I want. Like the likes and the comments, they won't allow you to pay for your groceries. So let's track what does.
Do you ever delete a post when it doesn't have the traction you want in like the first 10 minutes?
No, I've never posted. I never deleted a post. No, it's everything's on there.
I just want to tag onto that. Something that has changed with the LinkedIn algorithm is LinkedIn is promoting posts from 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks ago a lot more now.
Yeah.
So your performance in the first 10 minutes doesn't mean what it used to.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. It's I think the change happened about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, but a lot of LinkedIn users have noticed we see many more old posts showing up in our feeds now.
Yeah, so I see when I have a post that has initial traction, it goes on and on and on for 3 weeks. But if I have a post that doesn't have the initial traction, obviously they can't promote it on and on and on and on either. And I think it still falls dead on its first 10 minutes.
All the posts, most of my posts that went like really like, I don't want to say like viral, you could tell like in the first 10 minutes it was, like going, but it doesn't, it can still perform like decent if it doesn't have that in the first minute, but you tend to see like a positive correlation between like the first 10 minutes and then like going like through the roof.
It's not like LinkedIn is like, hey, let's see what Martje said 2 weeks ago. Let's get some attention. You left her in the call with that post.
But it doesn't mean that someone hasn't saved that post, right?
Yeah.
Even if it hasn't gone off as the other one. It doesn't mean
So I had a post once and it had like 600 impressions and I was like, oh, that's trash. And then 2 days later, I have this sales call with this CCO and he's like, oh, I saw your post, really liked your post on Tuesday about outbound systems and signals. It's really what we want to do. He didn't like it. It didn't go through the roof, but he noticed it and he like, so the impressions and the vanity metrics like doesn't matter.
My ego is too
Oh,
big.
Yeah, you gotta park the ego down. I mean, I get the feeling every now and then I have a post that goes like really well, and then you're like, it's nice for your ego, but we all have to pay groceries. I mean, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, so this is kind of long-term approach, right? As in how to
Yeah.
generate more leads and all that. What would you say is the kind of timeline for this to start working? Let's say I start from nothing. I
Yeah.
don't have anything.
It's a good question. If I look at my own experience, I started posting, and then after like 2-3 months, I got like my first inbound lead. So that took me around like 2-3 months, and then after like 9-10 months, that's when it got way more steady and more consistent. So right now, I'm averaging every month between 5 and 10 inbound leads. Which, I mean, for my business is wonderful because I also have other channels running. So if you really want to do it well, like just make sure that you have like a long enough time because it is a more long-term play. But when you do get there, then it's very consistent if you keep it up.
And let's say if I kind of manage a bigger company, as in 400 employees, and we have around 7-8 people in the management, let's say on the C-level. Now, would you advise that we all do it, or it's more like, I don't know, someone focuses on that, like what would be a strategy?
No, definitely do it. So I work with this IT company. They have 600 employees. And then we created we call it the influencer group. So we have like the CEO, we have the CTO, we have the head of business development, we have the head of the lead developer, and then the CIO. And then they all have a similar strategy, but all with a bit more of their own area of expertise. So then the CTO would be posting a bit more about the technical side, the CEO a bit more about the strategy, the lead developer a bit more about the tech, like the nitty gritty. And then if you combine those networks and they're all growing, that's obviously more like the oil spill just gets bigger. And then especially if you're also organizing like events or something or like a webinar, then you can leverage all these profiles to drive the signups for like events and then do sales from there. So if the question is, do we all, like yes, like get the whole team on LinkedIn, like get everybody posting.
I think it's a great employer brand.
Yeah, not to even mention about the employer branding benefits. That if you're all sharing about the cool stuff you do and also a little bit about the personal side of the business, that people will want to work there as well. Yeah.